Alright, here's how to do the Army of One assignment using the background eraser tool and the regular eraser tool. You're going to want to have these two photos open that we took. Ideally, they'll be on the ones on the green screen. If not, you can find something else, but this will make it a little bit easier to do. And let's get started. We're going to start with our good friend here hiding underneath the eraser tool, the background eraser tool. Make sure you do this first. Don't start with the eraser tool. Start with the background eraser tool. And by default, that tolerance for the background eraser tool is around 50%. And that's going to work for a lot of the parts of this photo. So let's start somewhere where there's the biggest contrast between the person and the background. So this black shirt and the green background will be a great place to start. And the way the background eraser tool works is, see that little plus sign right inside of the circle? Whatever color that plus sign is touching, it will erase everything inside the circle that is that color or close to it, depending on where our tolerance is set at. So right here, in theory, if I click here, it should erase all of the green inside the circle, but ignore the blackness of his arm. Let's try it and see if it works. You can see it didn't. It didn't quite work because my tolerance for this situation is too high. If I come down here and try it, you can see here it works great. It got rid of all the green, but it left his shirt. So it turns out the gray shirt is the best spot of contrast in the photo, which is awesome. Now you'll notice I'm clicking here and nothing's happening. Well, look at where the plus sign is. It's on the background. It's on where there's just white and those white and gray pixels. So that's obviously not going to work. But if I come up and click right here, you can see I get a pretty good selection. But again, it erased some of his shirt. So what do we do when that happens? Well, first we Control-Alt-Z, undo. And let's come up, let's lower the tolerance down. Let's bring that down to around, I don't know, let's try 25 and see if that works. You can see that got me a pretty good erase right there. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why don't we just always keep the tolerance low? Well, you'll notice if we zoom in here, it didn't erase everything. See how there's still parts of the background in that? The lower the tolerance is, the more it's going to leave behind, which is kind of annoying. So let's go back to that, and let's keep working our way around. Looks like we can still doing pretty good with our tolerance at 24 here. It's leaving some of the background there. I'm going to try to raise it up a little bit. Maybe let's try 30. And that's as long as it's still working, I'm going to keep going. So right here, it's safe to click. As long as that plus sign is on the green, I'm going to be okay. Let's see what happens if I come over here by the head. Perfect. Oh, now up here, the background starts to get really dark, and that hat is also dark. So you can see it's leaving it's taking out a lot of the hat. So what I need to do is Control-Alt-Z that. I'm going to need to bring my tolerance way down up here, maybe to around 11 or 10%. You can see here I can get a pretty good erase, but again, it's leaving a lot of the background there. But that's okay. We'll clean that up later. I'm going to get in as much of this as I can here, and then as soon as I can, I want to raise this tolerance back up. Now that I'm not up by his dark hat and the dark background, I could probably raise his tolerance back up to around 30. And I'm getting a much, much cleaner erase here. So as soon as you can, get that tolerance back up as high as you can get it. The higher the tolerance, the better the cutout you're going to get. So I'm just going to keep working my way around here. Again, as long as that plus sign is only touching the green, I'm going to be okay. Okay, very good. Down here, I'm going to keep on rocking. I'm going to try right here. See how it's just leaving some stuff behind? I'm going to do just some little clicks in here and see if I can't get it to erase some of that stuff that it's leaving behind. The more I can get with the background eraser tool, the easier. Whoa, I got too much there. The easier my job is going to be later on. So there we go. And let's just keep moving on. This blue tape on the floor is a little bit troublesome. Get as much of that as you can with the background eraser tool. I'm just doing a lot of little clicks on this blue tape. I'm mostly concerned with getting the area right up against him. Out here we can use the regular eraser tool to clean that up. Really good. Be careful down here around the shoes. Make sure as you're going around that you're not erasing any of the shoe or the sock. And just keep working. By the way, you see how I'm moving my canvas around? I'm doing that by just holding down the space bar. Oh, look at that. I got way too much there. So let's just leave that as is. So hold down the space bar and then click and drag to move your canvas around when you're zoomed in like this. Lots of little clicks right here. Get rid of as much of this as I can. As long as it's not erasing his pants, I'm just going to keep clicking as much as I can to get as much of that out of there as possible. Come in here and get that little bit of green right there. Lots of little clicks right there to clean that up. Get as much of this blue out of there. Ideally, we would have had that green screen all the way out so it was covering the entire image. So I'm just going to keep working my way around, and we'll come back when I'm done. Okay, and I'm pretty much done here. You can see I got a pretty good cutout going around. And a really easy way to kind of check and see how good you did is to make a new layer. So go ahead, just come down here to the bottom of your layers palette, click on this new layer button, and I'm going to drag this layer underneath layer 0. So I'm going to put it underneath there. Then I'm going to go to Edit, Fill. I'm going to fill this with just a random color. Let's try something light, that nice light pink. And go ahead and press OK. And that kind of helps see what you left behind and what you got rid of. So I'm going to go back to layer 0 now, and now I'm just going to grab my regular eraser tool. I'm going to make it fairly large, and I want to make sure I'm using a real high hardness of about 100%. And I'm just going to come in here and now just start erasing as much of this green as I can. And all this extra nonsense, all this stuff that it didn't get, I'm going to try to get some of that. But again, don't spend a ton of time on that. I don't want you like zoomed in, being super precise, trying to clean up every little edge. Oops, I accidentally erased part of his arm there, so Control-Alt-Z. That's why when I'm erasing, I like to do lots of little clicks. If you try to do it all in one click, and then you accidentally make a mistake and you have to Control-Alt-Z, then you're starting completely over. And that's no fun. So I'll come in here and just clean this up a little bit more, and we'll pick this back up. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Remember, this purple's not going to stay there. That's just there to help me see what I missed. So you can actually turn that off. Now you need to go through, and I want you to do that same thing with your second image over here. I'm not going to make you watch me do that, but do that with both of your images so that you end up with 2 cutout images, and then we can move on. Okay, so I've got both of my images cut out here, and we're ready to move on with the assignment. Now you need to have a picture that you've downloaded where you want to put all of your dudes. So I got a football field here. So I want to get these 2 guys over into my football field. So I'm going to grab my Move tool. And remember, to move things over, you just click and drag it up to the new window that you want it to go into. Hold it there for a second. Come down here and let go. Obviously, I got to do some resizing here, so I'm going to do way out, zoom way out, do Control-T, hold down Shift, drag from the corner, and make him fit a little bit more reasonably. For now, that's good. I'll go ahead and press Enter. Let me come back to this other one. Move tool, drag him over, drop him in. Control-T. Zoom out, hold down Shift, drag from the corner. And there you go. We're not done with these. Not a bad idea to save them. So let's just go to File, Save. I can't. This one won't let me save because it's already saved, so I'm just going to close it. This one absolutely will let me save it, so I'll just do a little File, Save. And let's make sure we're saving this in our own folders. Just in case you need to come back, and I had already had it in there. In case you need to come back and work on it some more, save it as a PSD, and that will save this transparent background for you, and that's what we want. So close that now. And now we're just stuck with these. So again, just like we've already learned, we're going to make multiple of these guys filling up this football field. Remember, the closer they are, the bigger they should be. If I'm going to take him and to do this, hold down the Alt key and click and drag with the Move tool, just like when we did the Adjustment Layers assignment. You can see that duplicated. If I'm going to make him really small, it wouldn't make sense for him to be right here. Instead, what I want him to be, if I'm going to make him small, I'm going to put him farther back. So I'm going to shrink him down like that, put him back here. Now, it doesn't make sense that if he's back there that he would be on top of that arm right there. So I need to come over to my Layers palette, and I need to move this layer down towards the bottom. So now he's coming from behind that part of the body right there. So now maybe I'll duplicate this one. So grab your Move tool, press and hold down Alt, and click and drag. And I need to Control-T that, make him a little bit smaller, and then I can even rotate him a little bit. Maybe I'll rotate him a little bit and have him kind of peeking out right there. And let's make a copy of this guy now by holding down Alt, and let's put him way back here, and he needs to be even smaller. Put him kind of hanging out way in the background. And let's duplicate this guy here. Control-T, hold down Shift, drag from the corner. Make him nice and small. Put him in the back there. Again, I got to move that layer down so he's coming from behind those other layers. There you go. I'm going to move this so I can see my whole image, put it back where it should be. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I have about 7 to 10 random dudes on my screen here. All right, there you go. We got about 9 guys here. That's exactly what I want to see. Kind of spaced out. The ones who are closest are the biggest. The ones who are the farthest away are the smallest. I like it. It looks good. Let's go to File, Save. And again, we always save things in our own folder first. So I'm in my folder right here, Johnson, Mr. This is the Army of One assignment. So I'll call this Army of One. Make sure I'm saving it as a PSD so I can come back and make changes later if I need to. Once that's done, I'll go to File, Save As. Let's find the grading folder. Here's the Army of One assignment again. Last name, comma, first name. Format is a JPEG. Make sure you're getting that. And then go ahead and press Save. And remember, when this box pops up, we just press OK. And we're